Hi, welcome to the Momentum Accelerator info session. I'm Jill Morenz with Aviatra Accelerators. We help women start, grow, and fund their businesses faster and with more confidence so that they can have profitable, sustainable companies. So I'm excited to share information about our Momentum Accelerator. Applications are open until May 30th, and the first session is on June 4th, 2025. So I'm going to share my screen and tell you a little bit about the program. Okay, so this program is, this is our flagship program. We have given this program now for 15 years, and it gets better every year. So this program is for, this program is for women who have been in business for about a year or more. They have had, we have an income recommendation to have made a total, not annual, but a total of around $50,000 a year. But we're really flexible on that. Really, the program is intended for women who have some sales, they have some experience, some data, so that they can, capture that momentum. So whatever they've been doing, whether it works or hasn't yet worked, they can capture that momentum and grow and with this program. So a lot of the women that come into the program are solopreneurs. They have been working really hard and started their business around something that they do really well or that they're really passionate about. And so they are really good at that thing that they do, but they often don't have a business background and haven't necessarily gone back and set up the foundations of their business so that they're ready for growth. So that's a big part of what Momentum is for. So there are three huge benefits that come from participation in the Momentum Accelerator. So the first is education, the second is community, and the third is visibility. So we're going to dig into all three of those. So the education is built around four pillars: foundations, financials, customers, and growth. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about each of those. So the foundations, this is the kind of the messaging, right? The core of your business. So what you do and then how you talk about it. So we go into the problem that you solve for your customers. We dig a lot into your ideal customer. So once you know the problem that you solve, the next question is, who has that problem? And those are your customers. And a lot of business owners have more than one type of customer, type of ideal customer. So we dig into all of that. And then also there's a lot of resources around that we introduce the participants in the Momentum Accelerator that we introduce you to as well. So that's part of the foundations pillar. The next pillar is the finances. So there is a range of knowledge that the women in our programs come with. Some of them are very financially savvy, and some of them are really on the earlier end of their learning. So we have an accounting 101 session that's taught by an accountant who's also a CPA, really explaining how to read the reports that you get from like QuickBooks or whatever, how to read your cash flow statement, how to read your profit and loss statement, what those numbers mean, right? And what they mean as a snapshot of today, and then what they mean to help you make decisions in the future. So then we also have a separate session on cash flow management and budgeting, projecting for the future. So again, what do your numbers, what are they now? And then what do they mean for you in the future? How can you make decisions based on those numbers and based on assumptions of future earnings and expenses? And we really dig a lot into your pricing and then the profitability levers that you can pull to make sure that you are profitable. In addition to being, to having increased revenue, we want you to have increased profit as well. So that's the finances pillar. The third pillar is customers. And this is absolutely critical, of course, because without customers, we don't have a business. So we have 3 separate sessions on customers. The first is customer attraction. So this is marketing essentially, right? How are you getting customers, potential customers, to even notice you? How are you meeting them? The second session is called customer conversion. So this is the sales, the actual strategies of how to take a potential customer and turn them into an actual customer. And so we have a sales trainer come in. We then role play sales training or sales conversations. So after the trainer, then we role play the conversations that you might have, different scenarios, so that you can practice your sales pitch and your sales conversations in a very safe space, non-judgmental space. We also have another subject matter expert to come in and talk about 7 touch point system. So from the first time you meet your potential customer, the 7 ways that you can kind of continue to nurture them and then convert them into the paying customers. And then there's also a bonus webinar under this pillar or under this category of customer attraction or customer conversion, talking about relationship selling. So, and also what is your sales personality? So we'll figure out what your sales personality is and then how you can turn that into successful sales regardless of your sales personality. And then the third session about customers is customer retention. So you worked really hard to attract your customers, really hard to convert them. Now, how are you going to keep them? So we help you construct a value ladder. We also talk a lot about building community and how you can use that in your business to continue to have great customer retention. So that's the third pillar. The fourth pillar of the education piece of Momentum Accelerator is growth. So we talk a lot about funding, how to fund your business, what types of funding you might be eligible for, how to get that. We also talk about scalability versus growth. So what is the difference and how can you achieve both potentially in your business? And then we also talk about what are your long-term goals for your business? Do you want to sell it? Are you building a legacy? Is this something that you just want to do until you're ready to do something else or retire? Whatever your ultimate goals are for your business, there are decisions that you can make now that will help you reach that goal. And so that's what we talk about in this pillar as well. So just to recap, the 4 pillars of the education piece of Momentum Accelerator are foundations, financials, customers, and growth. Next, and team building. Yeah, I forgot about the team building piece as well. I just noticed my slide. Team building too, we talk a lot about that. So the next big benefit of the Momentum Accelerator is the community. Every single person who comes through this program always talks about the community that she has met now. So the other women in your cohort are your business besties, at least for the duration of the program. But what absolutely warms my heart is how long these relationships last. We have women from our very first cohort 15 years ago who still are friends. So these are people that you spend a lot of time with. You're cheering them on, they're cheering you on. And it's just, it's extremely rewarding. And, it's really helpful, of course, when you're an entrepreneur to have other entrepreneurs around you because they understand the struggles and the highs and the lows, and they can really, when you have an amazing win, they can really appreciate it. We talk a lot about the 3 types of networking or the 3 types of connections that you need in your network. And Momentum is really built around these. So connections to experts. We have more than 25 subject matter experts that we bring in to Momentum to help you understand whatever it is they're teaching for that pillar. We also have, of course, the funders that you're going to meet during the growth sessions. So you now understand how that works and what might work for your business. And then, as I said, connections to other women entrepreneurs, absolutely critical. They really understand what you're going through. And they perhaps have solved a problem that you haven't yet solved, and you might have solved something that they haven't yet solved. So it's very supportive and helping each other grow. It's just an absolutely wonderful piece of the program. The third big benefit of Momentum Accelerator is visibility. So we do a ton of press around Momentum. We do press releases. We do a lot of announcements on our social. So we get we do go on TV to talk about it. We do a lot of outreach. And then we also have a lot of continuing connections that come from this, continuing visibility. So one of the women that went through our program in 2024 was just telling me that she still has people almost a year later come up to her and say, "Hey, I saw you give your pitch at Flight Night." And she has developed so many long-term relationships, as have many of the women that come out of the Momentum Accelerator, have developed these relationships that just they stay and they continue to grow and amplify, right? Like it's a ripple effect. That visibility that you get from the program then leads to other opportunities. It's very exciting. It's also so much fun to celebrate the women in our programs. So the logistics of Momentum. So this is an in-person program in Covington, Kentucky for 12 weeks. So we meet every Wednesday evening for 12 weeks, starting on June 4th and ending on our August 27th. August 27th is the pitch competition. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. There are also 5 bonus webinars that take place typically on Fridays at noon. So that's another piece of it. Those are going deeper into the topics in the general sessions that we wanted to, bring you more resources and more education. So that's why we have those bonus webinars. Then the whole program culminates in something that is called Flight Night. This is an exciting evening. There's about 200 people in the room, and all the participants in Momentum every week have been working on their pitch. So they work a little bit every week, building their pitch and practicing it. We also bring in pitch coaches to help you feel really confident in delivering your pitch. So then on August 27th, you give your pitch to the pitch selection committee, and they select a winner for the competition. And then the winner is announced on Flight Night. So Flight Night is September 4th this year at the 20th Century Theater in Oakley. And so all the women in Momentum, they give their pitches. They get up on stage, they give their pitches, they have their slides. And it's just such a wonderful opportunity to share what you do. Another piece of that visibility, to share what you do with all the community leaders and friends and family and sponsors in the room. And then the second half of the evening is the Women Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. And these are women who are more seasoned entrepreneurs who are doing big things. So Flight Night ends up being a celebration of, the more early stage women entrepreneurs, and then women entrepreneurs who have already been in business for some time and are continuing to grow their business and make huge impact. So it's an absolutely amazing evening. Here's a photo from the one in 2023. So I would love now to share some testimonials from some of our recent alumni, and they are, so let's start with Jessica Wright. She owns Wright Workforce Solutions. So she's an HR consultant and helps people hire and fire and get their handbooks ready, right? Compliance, helps them build their team, make sure that everybody is succeeding the best way that they can within an organization. So for her, she talks about how every time she would come, she would have this realization like, oh, I didn't realize I needed to know that, right? Like there were, of course, some things that she knew she needed to know, but she would always pull out some additional information and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I heard that. She also tells me that when she had to miss a couple of the sessions, which are recorded, so you can watch them again or watch them catch up. And of course, you get the materials also. So no worries if you can't make all 12 of the sessions. So she did miss a couple of them. And she came back and she said, "Oh my gosh, you missed one, you missed so much." So she was really grateful for all the information, but also the fact that she could still have, some flexibility and take a vacation over the summer and not miss anything. And as she mentioned in her testimonial that you can see here, the community was such a big part of it. She continues to meet with the women in her cohort even today. Mavis Linneman Clark, she started her Delish Dish catering business as a side hustle a number of years ago. And she went through our program when she was pretty early stage, when she still had it as a side hustle. And she made a lot of connections, learned a lot in the program, and has since gone on to grow her business. She now has the catering business. She also makes jam called Made by Mavis, which is carried at Kroger. And she has a commercial kitchen that she rents out to other food entrepreneurs. And all these businesses combined, plus her hard work and her team's work, have led her to be a $1 million business owner. So a couple of years ago, she hit $1 million in revenue, and she's on track this year to earn $2 million. So that's very exciting. So you can see she started from a side hustle to $1 million business. And she said that for her, what she loved about it was that it was a lot of work, because she really, as you all know, you get out of something what you put into it. So it was work, but it was so worth it. She felt that the personalization, because of it's in person, you get to talk directly to the experts who are teaching the programs and ask them questions about your specific situation. So it feels very personalized. And she said it was like a mini MBA. Then Sonia also went through the program several years ago, and her business is more planning and consulting. And Sonia helps people, business owners, often women, hone in on their processes. So how to streamline what they're doing, right? We all are such hard workers, but sometimes we are probably able to admit that we work hard and not smart always. And so Sonia comes in and helps people identify what they should be doing smarter, right? So she will help before somebody, I always quote Sonia. She says, "Never put a person where a process should be." So she says, like, a lot of times people hire too soon and they are not really ready. And so if you identify where you need help and then create a process and streamline it, then perhaps you can delay hiring somebody for that, which puts more profit in your pocket, of course. And then when you're ready to hire, then you put that person in there and they already have the process created. So it's much easier for you to hand it off to somebody. So Sonia really felt, as you can see here, that Aviatra was the launching pad for her business. And we bring her back, as we do many of our alumni, to teach. She will be teaching in Momentum this year. Lisa Woodruff started out as an organizer. She would come to people's houses and organize their closets, their pantries, their kitchens, and everything. And she developed this process that was very teachable. And so she created this like a line of products, and then all this education behind it to teach people her system of organizing. Well, she found out during all of this that her system is very effective for people on like neurodiverse brains, right? So like people on the autism spectrum, for example, really found that her processes really helped them succeed and organize their lives. And so she has now, she's pursuing a PhD to study this further and really help empower people who are neurodiverse to kind of manage their lives better, just as neurotypical people need to as well. So she's really found this niche for herself, and she hit $1 million a number of years ago. And what I love about her testimonial is, as business owners, when we're starting up, we spend all of our money we needed to have an immediate return on investment, an immediate ROI. Like, for example, we might spend something on marketing and we expect business to come in, income to come in from that. And she says that Momentum was the first time that she spent money on herself as a business owner to help her become a better leader and a better business owner so that she could eventually, right, increase her income, which of course she has done, but it didn't have an immediate return on investment. But she realized that she needed to invest in herself. And that's what Momentum is really all about. So you are invited, hereby officially invited, to apply for Momentum if you're a women business owner who's been in business around a year. It can be a little less than a year. I would love to see you inside the program. I would love to have you reach out on this page that is linked here in the QR code. There's a link to set up a call to talk about the program with me if you would like. And we can make sure that it's right for you and that you'll get the most out of it. I'm so excited to share with you about Momentum. So thank you for your time today. And I hope to see you inside Momentum. Thank you so much.